Hey guys, I'm back again. So today I'm going to be teaching you how to string your yo-yo and how to properly cut your yo-yo string, and then how to properly get the yo-yo string onto your finger. All of these sound like pretty basic steps, but they can be a little challenging if you've never done it yourself. So today I've got my one-drop Countach without a string. So this is probably what it's going to come like when you order your first yo-yo. It may or may not already have a string on it, but it should come with at least one string in the box. They can be any number of colors, but they'll be a couple feet long, just like you'd expect. So yeah, let's get right into it. For this tutorial, I'm going to assume that your yo-yo came with a string, or you bought string along with your yo-yo, and it's not already attached. So this string, Markmont 65, it is pretty standard. You see on one end, it's hard to pick up, but on this end there's a knot, on this end there's not a knot. Sometimes there's already like a finger loop tied, but either way, there's one end with nothing and one end with something. So we're going to take that nothing end, and we're going to unscrew our yo-yo, which sometimes they can be tight, but mine's not today. And you have a side with a bearing and a side without a bearing. And so I'm going to set the bearingless side down and come in close here. So the trick to opening up this string to go around the bearing, or if you have a bearingless yo-yo, the trick to getting it around the axle is, I'll set that down too, twisting this to opening up the loop, because a yo-yo string is basically just two or more threads wound together really tight, and so to make a loop, all you have to do is unwind it. So you see here, I've opened up the loop, I've put it around my finger. I'm going to transfer it to my other hand. So you have that loop, and now you have your yo-yo with the bearing, and you're just going to transfer it onto the bearing. Sorry, it's kind of hard to show here. And there you go. So I can take the bearing off, and you can see the string is attached to your bearing, just like that. And there's no knot necessary. It's just as easy as unwinding the tension and wrapping it around your bearing. So now we're going to put the bearing back on our axle. It just sits right there like that. And we can screw our yo-yo back together. Now you want to make sure that the string doesn't get wound up into the walls of the yo-yo. Sometimes that can happen. You want it to just be sitting just like that on the center of your bearing. And you can test to make sure that it's not stuck by just flicking it with your finger. And if it spins freely, then you're good to go. So now, on the other end, you've got a knot or a loop or something like that, and you want to attach it to your finger. So you're probably going to have to cut the string because length matters. And the length that we suggest for beginners is right at your belly button. So you can see right here, my belly button's right there. I set the yo-yo on the ground and just keep tension on the string. So this is how tall it is, the yo-yo on the floor with the string held up here. And so I'm going to go to my belly button, which is right here. I'm going to fold the string over on itself. Now that you have that marked, the yo-yo is now off the ground. So you just fold it over on itself, and we're going to tie a knot. So I'm going to link a better video on this in the description, just because my camera, I don't think I have the right angle for it. I don't know what the name of this knot is. Maybe if one of you is a Boy Scout, you can tell me. But you're just going to take about an inch, wrap it around your index finger, and then pull that loop through. And then just cinch it. It doesn't matter too much the size of the loop, but you don't want it huge. And just like that is fine. And then you have all this slack. We're going to leave that on for now in case you want to adjust the string. And now a mistake a lot of beginners make is they think that they just put their finger through that loop you just made. For starters, the loop I made is too tight to just go around my finger like that. But that's okay because that's not how we string a yo-yo onto our hand. What you're going to do is take your hand and pinch the string anywhere along it below the knot and just pass that through the loop you just made. So now this creates a sort of slip knot that looks a little bit messy because we have all this extra string that we're going to trim. But you've just created a slip knot that you can see I'm pulling tight around my finger. And when you're throwing, it should be about the center of your middle finger with you see where that loop connects to the string at the center, facing palm out. A lot of people like to put it on, or they want to put it on their index finger, but that's kind of frowned upon. If it's really uncomfortable on your middle finger, go ahead and put it on your index. But everybody that I know that yo-yos, you put it on the middle joint. You can see right here, middle joint of your middle finger, facing down. So you can see, if I can reach high enough, there's a yo-yo. And I'm going to hold my hand at my belly button, and the yo-yo just about touches the ground, which is exactly where we want it. I like my strings a little bit longer, so if I was really cutting a string today, I would probably have it about here. But it's just preference. Once you start throwing, you'll get a better idea. But anyways, moving on to the next topic, winding up your yo-yo. So whether you have a bearing or whether you just have a new yo-yo, it may not wind as easy as you expect it to. So the trick is you put your thumb into the groove of the yo-yo and you wind the string around your thumb the first, I don't know, 5 or 10 loops, and then you can kind of pull it tight around the center and then gently wind it the rest of the way. You can see. Now is a fine time to trim the string if you've already compared it to your belly button and you think it's right about the right spot. If I can cut this with my left hand, we will see. Come on. Alright, I guess I can't use scissors with my left hand, so that's going to stay there for now. And then throwing. I think we're going to do a more in-depth video on throwing technique in the future, but for now, you just have it between your middle finger, or your middle finger along the edge of the yo-yo. Start with your palm up at about shoulder height, and it's really in the wrist. A lot of people like to fully extend their arm, but that's going to smack the ground, and you're not going to get as fast a throw as you want. So just palm up, curl it in, and just let the yo-yo kind of fly off your hand like that. This takes practice. The yo-yo sometimes you'll throw it sideways and then you'll end up with a throw like this. Sometimes it'll get really off center and you'll just start spinning. Yeah, just start practicing. And let me know if you have any questions. I think that covers everything you need to know to start throwing your first yo-yo fresh out of the box. So have a good time.